Listen, guys. No, okay. The Spanish culture, you guys have your own beautiful, special qualities about you. And there's nothing wrong with that. Here's the issue that we have with Spanish speakers in this country. The only speakers that I feel like are allowed to speak Spanish in this country are the ones that actually know English. And they can prove that they know English and they can speak English properly, right? Listen, I'm from Uganda. I was born in East Africa, and when I moved to the United States, I didn't know one English word, maybe one. Hi, hello. My uncle Bernard, my uncle Bernard was a British white man who married my dad's sister and had mixed children. And he used to always visit my dad's house when I was younger. And I admired him because he was just so polite, so soft spoken, so kind. And that's what always really stole my heart. Not stole, but really captured my heart is the politeness of the white man. The white man was always just super polite, right? Trump is not the most polite white man that you've ever met, but you can really understand, especially as a black person who's been constantly criticized about who they are. I think he kind of paves the way for you guys to be able to make mistakes. And you guys have to really understand, like, he's paving a way, like, hey, look, I'm still the boss, and but I'm making mistakes, and it doesn't mean that it's okay. But is there anybody out there that understands me? Right? You have to understand the several businesses that Donald Trump owns. Donald Trump owns several huge businesses, even in Vegas, and I've seen them and they're beautiful. I mean, have you seen the Trump Tower? Have you seen the Trump Tower? It's absolutely beautiful. It's marvelous. It's a real business here in the country, right? And I'm not here to criticize Gavin Newsom's work, but he owns liquor stores or I don't know what kind of, which I personally don't agree with. I don't agree with someone running for president and owning selling liquor, because that's what got a lot of people. There was a Spanish guy that got ran over right in front of me by a drunk driver. So you can't tell me that unless you change your ways and change your behavior, I don't see how you can become president if you are criticizing the person that is the president. The last thing that we need is you guys getting in the White House and fighting. There is a whole nother war outside of the world, but you're fighting inside. Before fighting the rest of the world, resolve the issues within your own household. This is absolutely important, especially when you're running a business like the United States government. When you are head of the household, you can't get jealous and envious because somebody said that Trump is the king. You can't get jealous and envious of anybody that's king. In the United States, people have the right to believe what they want to believe about themselves. That has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with you. You have to be able to understand that. Have the ability to understand the rights, human rights. People have the right to speech, right? Freedom of speech. That's what Trump is exercising. He knows the law. Freedom of speech. Yes, we expect you to be professional. But since the law says you have freedom of speech, it doesn't say you cannot curse. It doesn't say specific things. He's just exercising his human rights. And that is why I don't argue with him, because I understand the law. Maybe not every detail of the law, but I understand the law. When I came to the United States, I studied the government. I may not have studied everything. I didn't even go to high school. I hung around police officers because I was always being put in the hospital. I was homeless, and police officers and people were always calling cops on me. Eventually, during those conversations, police officers sat down and we talked, because I was able to school them in some things and I was able to speak proper. And it wasn't even necessarily schooling. It's just knowing how to speak, knowing your rights as a human helps them become more respectful towards you. You have no idea the power of knowing English in this country, the things it can get you out of. You get what I mean? When you speak proper English and you know how to speak to because majority of people that are cops are literally white people. And then if it's other people that are Spanish people or different cultures, they're proper English speakers. Let me tell you, Spanish people have performed so poorly when it comes to being police officers, and I've seen this. I've seen them attack me. I've had them attack me. I mean, the ignorance in Spanish culture did not sell me. It did not give me stay in this country. It gave me go back to your country. This is the honest truth. And I have so much evidence that I've been homeless. And don't think that I didn't go out there and record almost every situation as much as I could. Right? When you read the paperwork, when you become a legal immigrant, when you become a permanent, a U.S. citizen, they tell you have to know English. You have to speak proper English. Even if it's not proper, you have to know English at least. How do you learn English if you're listening to your foolish? I'm going to call it foolish because it's aggravating. This is not to offend you. This is my opinion. I have the right to have an opinion in this country. Your Spanish music is aggravating. When I go to the Spanish club, I'm so aggravated by Spanish music. It's literally not good for my mind. This is not no lie. This is literal science. And don't get me started with Ebonics. At least rap music has a kick to it, right? Rap music makes people feel good. It makes people feel empowered. Some of the shit that they talk is shit talking, but sometimes you want to get that out of your system. Sometimes someone pisses you off that you just want to talk shit. You get what I mean? And say, in your music, it's to have an excuse to curse. Rap music makes me feel good. Even in its imperfection, I'm like, damn, I like this beat. I like this song. They got different beats all the time in rap music. It's not the same old reggaeton beat over and over. Repeated song in your head. It aggravates the nerves. It aggravates the brain. That's the problem. You want to bring your culture and you want to force it on American people. We like white music. White music is calming. It's peaceful. It's informative. I was born in the arms of the imaginary friends. Da 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 da. Then you came crushing in like a ribbon. Beautiful. It's understandable. Half from my heart, said I can't keep loving you. Half from my heart. It's so nice. It's so soothing. But Spanish, you don't even change up the beat. No decency to change the beat at least. At least to a hip hop beat. At least to a white beat. All day long. It's so fucking annoying. Turn it off. Learn English. You want to become the president? And I'm trying my very best. I apologize if I sound rude or disrespectful, but sometimes you have to bark. There is a lot of bite when it comes to this bark. I got the soldiers to do the biting for me. The universe actually does the bite. The soldiers don't have to do the bite. The universe does the biting for me. I don't have to bite anybody because I don't know what they got. The universe bites. You understand? So when you come to this country, you can't do business in this country speaking your language. You can't. You have to go to your country and do business in your country. That's where they speak Spanish. You want to protest? You have to organize your protest. Don't show up with a bunch of flags and declare war against the U.S. government. What is the reason for you guys loitering outside when there is so much work to do? What are you even saying, though, when you have no American flag? You come with your Spanish flag. What are you declaring war against this country? They will execute each one of you guys right in this country. Is that what you want? That's what they want. No, you go get killed in your country. We don't come here to get killed here because you want mercy. Go get killed in your country. We don't have time to spend hours on executing each and every one of you guys because you want to declare war. You show up without guns. Don't even bring your guns, man. The military is packed and ready. They're not fucking playing. You saw the lady that got shot? You saw the lady that got shot on the news, and she's not getting no fucking paycheck because you don't come from your country and start talking about America and what America is doing, this and that. And what the fuck are you doing? Coming from a whole nother country with your news, spying on this country to talk about this country, but you're not even helping, bringing nothing to the fucking table but noise, nonsense. Do you understand what I'm saying? What are you saying? What is the complaint? What is the march about anyway? Have you even started? Because you guys don't know what to do. You don't know what you're clueless. So why don't you create a channel for yourselves? Turn off the music. Turn off the garbage Spanish music, please. Turn it off. I don't care if your feelings are hurt. Because you hurt our feelings the minute you come over here and you start representing your country. It's almost like you're putting down the American flag. And you're trying to turn this into another Mexico. Well, we don't need another Mexico. This is America. 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 I hope I spelled that right. Do you hear my English? Do you know I abandoned my family? I don't care. They still speak African language, and they don't speak proper English like I do because they never hung out with the proper English speakers. I hung around the most proper English speakers are white people in this country, or black people that hang with white people. They're the ones that teach us English. I was actually paying attention in class. Miss Reeves, my teacher, my ESL teacher was a white woman. Miss Reeves, very nice, very polite, very respectful. Always gave me hugs. She wasn't discriminative towards me as a black person. Miss Godfrey, a black woman who spoke very good English, perfect. I think she spoke perfect. I don't know. She spoke good English. She had a little bit of an accent because we lived in Texas. Right? Master the English language. Let go of your country. Forget about it for a second. Focus on America. Trump said America first. I don't focus on the negativity. Not that I'm not paying attention to detail. I try to give people the benefit of the doubt. That's what being leader is all about. Always focusing on the negative is not going to help you solve any problems. But trying to understand, trying to sympathize, especially when you're a type of person that is asking for sympathy. I'm always asking for sympathy, always asking for mercy. When I was homeless, I was asking for mercy. So who am I to criticize and judge a president that's not perfect when I myself am looking for sympathy and mercy? I understand how hard it is to be a leader. So if Trump wants to be called a king, he can be called a king. He stroked my ego in so many different ways. He made me laugh. When you guys didn't understand him, I was laughing at his jokes, not at him, at his jokes. Because I know what it feels like to want something or someone that's doing great and end up having someone that is just sitting in office talking about Indians and different things that don't matter. Right? Miss Kamala Harris. Right? You can't really go in the White House with a big ego. You just kind of have to be kind because, to be honest, majority of the white community here are very kind, soft-spoken people. If you go to Santa Monica, most of them are really kind, soft-spoken, non-loud people. Seriously. But you guys want to grab them by the throat and disrespect them because they're kind and soft-spoken. From their sons to their fathers. Yeah, there are some that are disrespectful, but those are the perverts. The perverts in their community. They got perverts in their communities too. Believe me. Believe that. Perverted women that don't know what they're talking about, disrespect their husbands. When Zach is a real man with a real big cock too, a big ass dick that he knows how to fuck. But then she pokes him in the butt with sticks. That bitch will get slapped. Right? She disrespects the father of her children. A man who's consistently taking care of these children. On camera. She doesn't even show us how she's taking care of her kids. Because he's the one that's wearing the pants. He's in control. He's like, you're not going to make me look stupid. You're not going to make me look stupid. I'm a real man. That's the problem. It's like the white fathers, and there's other white women maybe, but the white fathers raise their children, their sons, to be responsible adults, or they go to the military to be responsible adults, and the women start disrespecting them. The white women, in private, in secret. Oh, that's a good sport. He's not a sport. I keep telling you, he's not a sport. He's a man. You know what they do with sports? Sports, they play sports. He's not a sport. He's a man. And I say he's a man because he's speaking to the mother figure. He knows I'm a mother. And all of you guys are mothers, but you can't even see when he's in trouble. You can't even point it out. You want him to be miserable. I listen to my children, my son. Even if it's my husband, I listen to him like he's my own son. I hear his cry. I hear his hurting. And I'm like, I see why you're hurting. I have to be observant. I'm a Leo. I am a natural born leader. I am a mother, mother nature. Lions are parent. They're parenting. They're very great parents. They take care of their cubs. They take care of their pack. They roar, right? Oh, you don't need a man? Oh, I'm so glad I have a man that has a big cock that I don't have to have sex with a black man in order to actually get those to get a great big cock that I need. I mean, because I use my dildo and I don't mind having sex with a man with a small penis. I've had sex with a man with his penis so damn small, you would think he's not even a teenager, a toddler. I still had an orgasm. Because that small penis was rubbing on my clitoris. The clitoris is what gives me the orgasm. There are two different orgasms. There's a vaginal orgasm and there's a clitoris orgasm. The vaginal orgasm is one of the best orgasms you can ever have. It's the best orgasm you could ever have. But you need to have your vaginal area, your vagina penetrated with a cock. So a big cock. Because that helps keep the hole open. That hole where the oxygen comes from, it helps keep it open. So, problem solved. If my man didn't have a big cock, we got a big dildo. No need to be offended. There's nothing wrong with it. Big things sometimes come in small packages. Or most times. At least you don't have your chain hanging low where it's a lot of weight. Having a big cock. It's weight. Ask any black man. Look how they walk around with their pants sagging. Not all of them that sag have big cocks, trust me. Not all of them that sag have big cocks. And understand that having a big cock for a woman, it hurts. You have to master. I feel like you have to be in love with a man to actually enjoy sex with a guy with a big penis. Because I've had black guys with humongous cocks. One, I think, or two, or three, but one with the biggest, longest cock ever that I had ever seen in my entire life that we had to do cocaine to see if it would work. The minute he picked me up to put that long stick inside of me, I told him, please put me down. Please put me down. I knew that he was going to do damage to my vagina, and it wasn't good damage. Because there was no love. I was attracted to him, but I wasn't in love with him. I wasn't really interested like that. Like, he was really handsome, but I was really into the cocaine. That was what I was into. And even with cocaine, I still was like, nah, this ain't gonna work. He was respectful enough to tell me he wasn't gonna give me too much cocaine. That was good. That shit would have fucked me up. But it was good, some good cocaine. With me and Zach, we don't need cocaine or drugs to fuck good. I look at Zach and I feel like attention. Yes, sir. Sir, yes, sir. I would never disrespect him. I'll be a good girl. I'll be on my best behavior, daddy. Definitely. Because the dick is good. The dick is good. I haven't even had it in real life, but just looking at it and the imagination and the energy, I really have great orgasms here. I do. They're going to get better too. It gets better. They're really good. I mean, the way I hear myself, oh, daddy, oh, yeah. They're good. So, checklist, yes, it's a go. Trust me, he has the best sex out of all the guys I've ever had sex with. Otherwise, I wouldn't be with him. I wouldn't be talking about him. I'll be going on and on about a loser that won't even take his mask off his face, want to call himself my man. How can you be a man, a king, and you got a mask on your face every day, covered your face? Let the world see who you are. You're a thief. You're a thief. That's what you are. Not a man, a thief. So the next time you want to really call yourself a man and have some real balls in this world, some real balls, take the mask off and get on camera like everybody else. Be the real boss man. You say you're beautiful and you know what I mean? Get out here. Let's see how beautiful you are, really. Is that who you are? Let's see your identity. But you want to marry me and then say, oh, I'll be back. And then, oh, you talking shit. Yeah, I'm talking shit, mad shit. You're not a king. You're not a king. You're a criminal. And Zach delivered me from you. He saved my life. I was just going to settle for it. I was like, fuck it. Because I'm just going with what the universe has blessed me with. Women are vulnerable creatures, and sometimes they just go with what's in front of them and give it a chance, give it a shot. Play the Moses, was it Moses or Joseph, wherever the woman put her daughter, her son in the ocean and left it to the universe and said, look, there's nothing I can do. I'm not going to watch this boy die on me right here. So let's see what the universe, same thing with my daughter. I'm not going to watch her die and do the same things that I did. They ruined me. So I was like, God, give me the strength to give up my daughter for adoption. Give me the strength to trust you. You know and you see what I don't see. Hell, we see you and you have books. You have people writing about God and have never seen God. We see God through action, through miracles. So he has to be real. People are making millions off of a church. They're worshiping Jesus, but they've never even seen him crucified. So he must be real. He had to have gotten crucified because there is a power, there is a force, there is something that has touched the human mind. This universe doesn't lie. Maybe it does and we don't know. But I felt the pain that Jesus Christ, I felt the thorns. I was walking around with this thorn. Jesus Christ is fake, whatever disrespect. They disrespected Jesus because they didn't want him to take their jobs. They wanted God to give them a chance. That's what Jesus doesn't understand. Why have you forsaken me? He didn't understand why he was crucified. The people were Mother Nature. They're not my children, but Eve started giving birth to people, mortals, not immortals. Adam and Eve gave birth to mortals. And when Jesus, a supernatural God, came, he came and criticized the work of the mortals. They were offended because they were doing their best. They were not perfect. They were sinners. They had fallen because of a spell that was broke, that came upon the earth. And with the Illuminati, I don't know what the Illuminati is, or the elimination of the world from the angels, eliminate people that are either useless or I don't know what, it's the way the universe is. I don't believe it's the Illuminati. I don't know what the hell the Illuminati is. I don't believe in the Illuminati, but there a lot of times, people get eliminated that can't work, but that's just how it is. Like if people are not going to kill you because you can't work, but your body naturally has to be able to perform, or else you end up somewhere. Somebody's always preying on your life. Trust me, even when you don't know it. So your body has to breathe. And so you have the U.S. government to help you survive as a person with a disability, right? That's mercy. That's understanding. That's what Jesus Christ died for, right? So people also wondering, well, why Jesus is wondering, why did he die? You went against, Jesus Christ came on this earth to act like he was so powerful that they needed him. And he was basically telling them they had no power. And what they were doing is trying to exercise their power. And they were saying, we might be small, but we're mighty. We might be powerless. We might not have supernatural powers. He was insulting them. Have you ever been human? I think we all have. They're just people. We don't have mercy on people that are criminals. No, we want change. But when you start to insult their work, somehow the universe has a way of giving them this power and this strength to do such a wicked act. Jesus Christ should have done things a lot different. But when you're angry, you're not going to lie, because a lot of them were doing wicked things. It's true. I mean, look at how many people they've arrested because they don't know what they're doing. We need supernatural powers, but the thing about it is you can't trust every person with supernatural powers. I mean, I was hearing with the things that Jesus was saying, and I was like, damn, what happened to the Christian man? I mean, he was literally threatening me, saying, if I ever see you on that block here. I was like, who? I was scared. Very scared. Me and God were both. There is two different people. Jesus and God are not the same person. I couldn't imagine God being on the cross. Jesus took God's place on the cross. Jesus couldn't have died on the cross and conquered it without God. Trust me. God is so mighty. When you start talking bad, talking negative, and trying to act like you got some fucking power, man, let me tell you, God will show you different. God will grab you by the throat, suffocate you. You won't know. You can't see him. You can't see him. You can only feel the Holy Ghost. That's the man that you need to be afraid of. I respect Jesus. I'm not afraid of Jesus. I'm afraid of what could happen to me if I disrespect Jesus. The person I'm afraid of is the one that sent Jesus. That's God. Even God is like, he's not coming here. I feel bad. I'm telling you. Because the minute you disrespect Mother Earth as a man, you're disrespecting everything that this planet is like a woman and a man, but really, we're in a vagina, a womb. Because even God still needed Mary to bring Jesus on this planet. No offense. He needed a woman. He didn't need a man. He needed a woman. Your organs and your body is not built to carry a child. That's what my body's been telling me. My body's been talking to Jesus, all this stuff. They're like, why don't I'm the king. Because he died on the cross, he says he's the king. The king cannot die on the cross. Maybe he did in secret. We all died with God here in this secret house in ours. You don't know how terrifying I've been in this house. Not this particular one, but kind of. The hell, I can't even explain it. Your own tongue. Be careful, right? So we're sitting there, Jesus is getting crucified again, and we're getting crucified with him. And they're using my body to do these crucifixions. I'm like, why you guys have to use me? In the midst of those trials, I felt alone. I felt like God wasn't even here. If he wasn't here, I wouldn't have made it. The shit would have swallowed me alive. Because it is his power, his authority that tells this world to obey, to bow down. He's the one that told the moon to become or to move or to be. He said, let there be light. And there was light. Let there be mountain. There was mountain. He has the power. So this universe responds to God. I know that. I feel it. And I've been speaking to God in my own bed when I was 16 years old. 15? I'm praying to God for gifts, mercy, all kinds of things. God finally wakes up and says, I'm going to give you the world, is what he said. I didn't know anything about being a Leo or this kind of crazy thing. I'm going to give you the world. When somebody say they're going to give you the world, it's easier said than done. Because we all suffered just to have the world. We were literally fighting for this shit. There are forces that are fighting for your life. Spiritual forces. As a human being, they're fighting to take your life. So you can be in the spirit and see things from the spiritual realm. I've died and I've seen life after death. There is actual life after death. Most people only see it through dreams when they're sleeping because that's their most relaxed. You're at your most relaxed state. So your spirit comes out of your body. And you get to visit in dreams, visit spiritual world in dreams. When you die, you're not dreaming. You're actually deceased. But you have a certain amount of time before you go to the hospital to be completely dead. So your body gives you a little bit of a time, like if there's a little bit of a heartbeat or if there's anything in your body that has life in it, your spirit is able to come back in your body. That's what they did. They called my spirit back in my body. But when I died, because lack of water, lack of proper nutrition, my head was purple, blood was coming out of my nose, foam was coming out of my mouth. I was 3 years old? And I remember they had to beat me with sticks to call my spirit back into my body. And it worked. It worked. God put me through the worst so he can deliver me and show me that he's with me. If I was with the rich, I wouldn't recognize God in my life unless I was suffering. There are rich people that can recognize God if they're going through suffering. But most rich people use money to solve their problems. God uses miracles to solve problems. Miracles. Understanding the power of your brain. God started from zero, from nothing. Scratch. I don't know how he did it. I mean, what was he standing on? I mean, when you can hear God and you can't really see him, he was real. He had flesh. At some point, he had to have flesh. Because otherwise, how would he have made Adam? Now, God loved when you talk about him. God doesn't allow anybody to talk about him because people that act like they know him might send the wrong message. But you can give it a shot. Give it a shot. Don't say, I don't want to talk about God. Because he loves it when you try. Nothing wrong with trying. When you try, you stand corrected. If you try and you're wrong, you stand corrected. It's okay to be wrong. It's okay to be wrong about God. At least you tried. At least you're not talking about the devil. The thing that God doesn't want is people using his name in vain and going to preach about God and saying this and that, but really collecting all these funds to build their empires and doing nothing for the community. The U.S. government does a lot for the community. But you guys get rich off of the word of God in the name of Jesus. To get rich and build. Joel Osteen got a mansion with an elevator, but the U.S. military barely even has that. The people that are dying for him to have that. How many shelters does Joel Osteen even have? What about TD Jakes? You guys have bigger mansions than their programs in this country. Right? What's the purpose of having the biggest mansion in the world if you don't have anything for the soldiers that died for you to be here? If you're not helping the government that is making it possible for you to even have the big homes that you have, the platform. That's where my mind is. I could live in my apartment and just stay here. I could live in a 3-bedroom apartment and be happy here. I don't need. The goal is to be content. There's nothing wrong with buying yourself a house because it is a hard job being a pastor, but you got to have a heart for people. You have to be careful with what you use God's wealth for in God's name. Jesus Christ died on the cross for the poor, for people not to sin for their sins, but not so they can sin, so they can turn from their sins. Jesus Christ was preaching. And even if he didn't have money, all Jesus Christ was saying, and all God was saying through Jesus Christ was, you may not have money, but you have power. Show them your power. They didn't like that. And maybe nobody really understood. God said he understood. They didn't understand. Jesus was arguing with God about them, saying, why don't you go down there yourself? Maybe his own mouth is what sent him on the cross. Maybe God didn't send him. Maybe his own potty mouth. Because I can hear his energy of deceit. Not deceit really, but it's like there is a nasty spirit that men have. Not all men, but that Jesus has. That's like, you think you're better, or he's angry. He has a bitter spirit inside of him. And I think that's just who he is. Right? And I don't know if that's really who he is, but that's just the vibe I got from Jesus. It's like, I came from this man that I loved so much for being so. I would have never allowed him to kill himself, but that's why I wasn't there. I would have been like Mary, like, what is going on? I don't believe in crucifying, because Eve is not going to crucify her kids. This is crazy. It's treason. It's like, I know the value of my children because I started with nothing. Me and Adam had nothing. Me, Adam, and God, we had nothing. It was just us. God made Adam from scratch, dust. What a powerful man. He made something out of nothing. And then he put me and Adam to sleep. To sleep. He has the power. He put us to sleep. We woke up. We didn't even know. We just knew each other. We knew God. Me and God made me forget that we had sex. You don't think God had sex with the most beautiful woman in the world? You don't think he drove the car first before giving it to Adam? You don't think he tried it first? You think he's holy, too holy to fuck a woman? Come on now. Let's be serious and be mature adults here. We're not children. He didn't know how to explain it. You guys don't even understand the simple details. How could he even explain that to you guys without you guys thinking, oh, she's a sinner? She had sex with God. Because you guys don't even believe that God, he says in the Bible, it says specifically, I created you out of my own image. It doesn't get any louder and clearer than that. He created man out of his own image. He said he created Eve out of the man, but no, man, Eve came out of from God, was an image copied from God, but God did not make Eve. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just saying. That's what I'm hearing my spirit say, because there was a yin and a yang. God was never alone. He probably thought he was alone. He discovered Eve. He discovered the female version of him. Because the universe knows, he knows about, is serious when it comes to procreation. If I'm wrong, I could be wrong. Please forgive me. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Maybe he made me. Maybe he made women. But then why is this whole female version of you around? You got to listen to your body. Why is it a yin and a yang? Why is female and male? Did you just make this up? You know what I mean? How is it? How do we explain this? Right? That's why you don't listen to just Christian stuff. It could be true, but I hear God saying it's not true. God's saying it's not true, that she's right, that it's just where we're not supposed to say it, to keep the women humble. You know, women sometimes talk too much. Men talk too much too, but women, you know, to keep the women kind of quiet, under control, because she's the most important one. So keeping her quiet is very necessary. Some of these women can run their mouth and say nothing really. When God speaks, God is important. The most important guy. I respect men more than anything. Men that respect women, of course. But to me, God is, when God speaks, he's not wasting his time. The miracles just happened around him. He just became the miracle maker. So he's amazed by his own creation. He's like, wow, I can't believe me. That's how a Leo feels. That's how I feel about myself as a Leo. I don't like to brag about being a Leo, but that's how Leos are. God is a Leo. He's a lion. He is a Leo. And he's like, wow, look at this power. Don't think that he did it all for free. He paid a price for that kind of power. He didn't ask for it. It was a given. Did I ask for the crown? No, it was a given. I didn't ask for this. I'm not going to disrespect the crown. Because guess what? It saved my life. You don't see how the crown saved my life. I believe God saved my life, not the crown. But, like I said, without my background or who I am or whatever, I don't think I would be as valuable to God. That's why God was killing everybody. Moses, he was killing, was it Isaac's kids? He didn't kill them, but he says he was serious when he said, you have to choose me over everyone else. This is what he was serious about. Because he knows he has the power to take away, to give and to take away. And if you don't have that kind of power and you don't want to listen to God, who are you listening to? Someone that God made? You see what I'm saying? And this takes me back to talking about Gavin Newsom. You're just a mayor, and you're not even willing to understand Donald Trump, so you're sounding like a criminal. I know you're trying to have sympathy for immigrants. We all have sympathy for immigrants, but a lot of immigrants don't have sympathy for this country. They refuse to live. They come to this country to bring their culture, but they are not willing to learn the United States culture. They're not willing to learn about this country. They're not willing to study. They come to this country and waste a lot of time in their community. I surrendered my country. I surrendered the crown. I surrendered. I didn't think of myself as a princess anymore. I came to this country. I always knew I was a princess, but it was not a big deal to me. I was like, it doesn't matter. I'm in America now. But I can't run from it because it is in my bloodline. It is in my body. It is who I am. Everything that I say is because I understand royal lifestyles. Lifestyles are crucial. They're raw, which is what we have to bring a change to the royal community. But in royal, it's so raw that you can't come close to the queen if you're the enemy. We don't give you chance. We spot the enemy from a distance. We don't give you a chance to come close to the queen. You can't. You can't. We already see who you are. Now, what else are you capable of doing? What else are you, what are your plans before you come close to the queen? Because she is the most important piece on the table besides God. You got to play and understand the game of chess. It's like 1, 2, 3. The only complicated part is actually moving the pieces. But understanding it is not that hard. I just understand the important parts, who you are and what your role is. I don't really study too much about the knights. I probably should, but it's not really important to me. Not right now. I don't have time to play chess. I don't have time for it. I'm too busy living life myself. Right? I could be good at it if I played it. I already won the game. So you are the pieces of the board, of the chessboard game. If you're curious, if you still don't understand, there's chess is just an example of the world, and you are the pieces. You are the pieces. It's just like witchcraft. They grab the pieces and they knock these down, and people are dying left to right. You're wondering what's going on because there's somebody in the background playing chess. It's showing you a perception, showing you the world in a smaller form. It's not necessarily exactly the same, but it's just about exactly the same, actually. We can go on and on about this, but your orders are your steps are ordered. Nobody just makes moves without God's authority. The person that started the game is the one that's in control. You understand that? He started the game. He's in control. He wrote the book. You all are sleeping. You don't even know your next move, but God knows. He might not know your exact move because he's like, that's none of my business. But he already set it in place. All you have to do is move. So Gavin Newsom, I just think that it's not a bad idea trying to run for president. That's not a bad idea. Caring for immigrants is not a bad thing. This country was built based off of a lot of immigrants, but it doesn't make it any other country except for America. You were all invited here. You were invited here. There's a lot of white soldiers that died before you all came to this country. So you have to give them respect. Right? And I do understand that a lot of people in this country that are rich, it's not just white people. There's the Kardashians. There is so many people that are billionaires in this country that could be doing more, but they don't do that much. And the white people are saying, well, if we already died, so many people in the white community died for them to be here, why don't they start helping us? That's all they're saying. It takes a voice. People to ask, people to, you know what I mean? Someone has to actually do it. Like me personally, the minute I get better and I can actually run the shit, I want to build programs because that's the only smart thing to do. In order to build programs, you need to have a business that's properly running. You can't just rely on donations. You have to have donations, but you also need to have a business on the side in case people don't donate. Money has to keep coming in. If it's going to be a nonprofit organization, it's a business, shelter systems. That's a great way to give, but also you need a side hustle. You need something for yourself that is going to bring in guaranteed income. But the country has so much money that they're waiting to give these programs. Trust me. This country has money that's like, we want to give the right programs. We want to fund. These banks want to help you. You just have to start. But I'm not going to start if I'm not physically ready to run a business and to finish it or to continue to run it. I have to deal with my issues at home. I have to be wedded. I have to get married. I have to have a partner. I have to deal with that partner. I can start without him. If I'm finished, I have to finish working on myself. Let me tell you, love is so powerful that you can start a business and you fall weak and say, and the minute he starts throwing tantrums and say, I need you at home, you have to go home and tend to your heart. That's what twin flames are about. When he's weak, you're weak. And you can't be weak when it's time to go to work. You have to be strong. So you have to deal with his problems. You have to deal with his sexual needs, whatever it is, get it out of our system, babe, and let's get back to work whenever we're done. But there's no rush. There's no rush, baby. I have to tell my man, we don't need to rush. Let's take our time. We have forever, right? I want you to come here, but you could rush if you want to, if you have the ability to, but I need you to be careful. Move according to what your body feels, right? I want my man before I can work on anybody else, I want to work on my king. I want to make sure his feet are ahead of any soldier and any president. Me and his feet need to be on the same, moving the same. Because he's not going nowhere without me. I'm not going nowhere without him, obviously. Me and my counterpart need to be moving the same way. Me and God moving the same way. Me and my partner need to move the same way. I need to get him ready. Because if somebody tries to hurt him, he needs to be ready to defend himself. And if somebody tries to hurt me, I need to be ready not to only defend myself, but to defend him. And he defend me. We need to both be able to defend each other. We need to get in the shooting range, in the gun range, learn how to shoot, learn how to fight, how to fight with the sword. We don't fight. It's not a real sword. It's one of those little sticks. We don't fight with a real sword. Those that fight with a sword die by the sword. That's what they say. It's true. I'm not doing it. It's a quick silencer. So that's what I'm here to prepare him. Fix his feet. Get him as flexible as a ballerina. Because those feet need to be ready for war. He needs to be able to walk on his toes. He needs to be flexible to be able to touch his toes. Bend over, no disrespect. Bend over and touch your toes. If you can't touch your toes, you're not ready. You're not ready. Stretching needs to feel good. It doesn't need to hurt. If it's hurting, it means you're not ready. When you relax, you're stronger. You're able to handle your emotions. You're able to handle other people's emotions. You're able to control your body better. We want to see that you can do the splits, the center splits. Hell, I can't do the center splits yet. But I can do the splits. Barely. I used to be able to do them so well, but when I'm working on breaking down the tension in every part of my body, so when it comes to actually stretching, I'm not stretching in pain. You get what I mean? Once that tension is broken down, I'm not stretching in pain. I can do the splits, yes, I know. But the center splits is what I'm trying to master. So that's all we have to do. That's why I'm saying, baby, we don't have time to go to the club. We don't have time to hang out with friends. That's why we're so in love with each other, because I'm your medicine. You're my medicine. All I think about is you. All you think about is me. And together, let's think about the future. Let's help the government for helping us find each other. Right? Right, baby? Give back. Right?